Miami just won the Giannis sweepstakes. They landed a top 5 player on the planet, a 2-time MVP, a champion. So why am I telling you this team is in trouble? Because of what the deal cost and one skill this roster simply does not have. Today we break down the real Miami rebuild, the one nobody is talking about, and the single move that decides everything. Let's get into it. Here's the roadmap. First, the price Miami paid to get Giannis, because it changes everything. Then, the problem hiding inside their 2-star core. Then, what Giannis has had his entire career that Miami cannot give him yet. And finally, the exact type of player they have to go find this summer. The trade is real and verified. The targets and grades are my projections. Let's start with the build. This is Game is Culture. Real quick before we dig in, if you like rosters broken down with actual shot data instead of hot takes, hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps the channel grow. Alright, the bill came due. First, the price. To pry Giannis loose, Miami didn't trade spare parts. They traded their future. Out went Tyler Hero, their leading 3-point shooter, Kel'el Ware, a promising young center, Jaime Jaquez Jr., and Kasparas Yakusionis. 4 players all in their 20s, plus 3 first-round picks. In one move, the entire young core and a stack of draft capital left South Beach. They got a superstar. They emptied the cupboard to do it. Here's what's left. Strip out everyone in that deal, and Miami's reliable group is basically Giannis, Bam Adebayo, Andrew Wiggins, and Davion Mitchell. A real contender goes 8 or 9 deep with players you trust in a playoff game. Miami right now is closer to 4. And it gets thornier because the picks that normally let a team draft cheap young talent are gone too, shipped to Milwaukee in the deal. So there's no drafting their way back to depth. Every single piece has to be bought or signed. That's not a finished roster, it's a foundation with a long to-do list, and the clock is already running. Now the catch. Here's the catch with those 2 stars. Look at where Giannis and Bam actually score. The overwhelming majority of their points come at the rim and the short mid-range, with almost nothing from behind the 3-point line. These are 2 of the best interior players alive, but from deep, they're both essentially non-shooters. Stack 2 non-shooters in the same front court and you create a very specific, very dangerous problem. They both want to live in the exact same square footage of the floor. Defenses know it, so they do this. With no deep shooting to respect from the bigs, the defense sinks into the paint, builds a wall, and dares Miami to beat them from outside. Every driving lane Giannis wants is suddenly clogged with bodies, and the rim, his single best weapon, becomes the most crowded real estate on the floor. The open looks are out on the perimeter, but right now Miami shooters can't make the defense pay for giving them up. So the entire rebuild comes down to one skill: shooting. Surround Giannis with snipers and his drives force the defense into an impossible choice. Help on him and surrender an open 3, or stay home and let him dunk. That's the unsolvable problem he's posed for years. But take the shooting away and you hand the defense an easy answer: just pack the paint. Miami's ceiling isn't decided by adding another scorer or another big. It's decided entirely by how much shooting they can buy. And there's a deadline on it too, because Giannis is in the back half of his prime. This can't be a slow, patient, multi-year search. The shooting has to arrive now, this summer, while he's still at his peak, or Miami wastes the very window they traded their whole future to open. Here's what makes this so urgent. Think about the team Giannis just left. In Milwaukee, he spent his prime surrounded by shooting, a roster built to launch threes around his drives, and it produced an MVP run and a title. Now look at Miami today: 2 non-shooting bigs and a thin supporting cast. Same superstar, completely different support. The version of Giannis that terrifies the league only exists when there are shooters spacing the floor for him. Miami inherited the star, but not the system that made him unstoppable. Quantify Miami's current floor spacing and it's alarmingly thin. After the trade, their best returning 3-point threat is Andrew Wiggins, around 41%. And after that, the reliable shooting falls off a cliff. A team built around drive and kick basketball wants 4, even 5 legitimate threats on the floor at once. Miami can currently point to about 1. That gap between 1 trusted shooter and the 4 they need is the entire rebuild in a single number. So how do they fix it? The fix isn't flashy, and that's the point. Miami doesn't need another shot creator. They have 2 stars who command the ball. They need specialists, players whose entire job is to stand outside, relocate, and punish a defense that collapses on Giannis. From the real free agent pool, think archetypes. A pure marksman in the Luke Kennard mold, movement shooters like Gary Trent Jr. or Malik Beasley, and 3-and-D wings like Dorian Finney-Smith or Royce O'Neal. Treat those as the type, not locks. None of them needs a single play called for him. Here's the shooting profile they should hunt, mapped to the floor. The ideal target buries the corner 3 in the low to mid 40s, hits the wings around 40, and stays a real threat at the top of the key. Those are the exact spots that open up when Giannis drives and the defense collapses. Drop a shooter with this chart next to him and the open looks the defense gives up. Stop being prayers and start being points. Notice almost all the value lives behind the arc, because that's the one place Giannis can't create offense by himself, and the one place his passing turns into instant threes. Now the market, because Miami can't just buy the best. Plot shooting ability against price, and the league's elite 2-way wings sit in the expensive top right, out of reach for a team that just spent everything on Giannis. Miami's zone is the top left, high shooting at a low price. The specialist snipers who slip through free agency every summer because they only do one thing. But that one thing, spacing the floor, is the most valuable dollar this exact roster can spend. And they have to do it on a budget. Like most teams that just traded for a superstar, Miami is pressed against the salary cap's aprons, which squeezes their spending tools down to roughly a small mid-level exception and minimum contracts. No max shooter is walking through that door. The good news? Shooting is the single cheapest skill to find at the margins. A veteran sniper on a 1-year deal, or a young 3-and-D wing betting on himself next to 2 stars. Value, not stars, is the assignment. So grade the urgency. With the young core shipped out, the draft capital gone, and 2 non-shooting stars locked into the front court, shooting isn't one need among several. It's the need, the single variable that decides whether the Giannis era in Miami contends or stalls in the first round. On my dial, this sits near the very top. Every dollar and every roster spot this summer should point at the same target, shooting around the stars. Where could I be wrong? If Miami re-signs the shooting already on the books and lands even 2 of these snipers, the hole closes fast, and this looks brilliant by the fall. The exact free agents available will shift between now and the summers, so weigh the names as the right type, not guarantees. But the shape doesn't change. 2 non-shooting stars on a gutted roster need floor spacing more than anything else on earth. And if the front office chases another name scorer instead, this becomes a good regular season team that bogs down when the games actually matter. So that's the real Miami rebuild. They won the Giannis sweepstakes, but they spent their future to do it. And now a championship window hangs on one unglamorous skill: shooting. So tell me, which shooter would you go get first to put next to Giannis and Bam? And which team should I rebuild next? Drop it in the comments. And we are so close to 1,000 subs, so subscribe to stay up to date.